Welcome to Foundations of Emo, hosted by Claire and Danny. Each episode we take one of our favourite bands and dive deep into their history and origins, reminiscing on our own emo roots along the way.
Hello.
Hi!
We say that like we haven't spent the last 4 hours together.
I know, it's like, oh, let's pretend we have news.
We do have news.
We have loads of news.
We're going to go see Census Fail. We haven't bought any tickets yet, but we are.
Guys! So Census Fail teased a little, one of these, anniversary tours. And I was getting my hopes up, and then obviously it was just for the US. And then yesterday I went on Instagram and they're playing in the UK and Europe. So have to get tickets. They're on sale tomorrow. And Danny, being the good loyal friend that she is coming along.
Yeah.
Because nobody else wants to.
Taylor just sent it to me. I was like, which one are we going to?
I was like, yes. And then we couldn't decide because all the places sound a bit boring.
They're kind of random, or they're places we've been before.
Or they're on awkward days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think a weekend is better.
So we're going to try get tickets to Birmingham.
Yeah. The most random of all the places.
I mean, Birmingham, there's apparently like a haunted train station.
Mm-hmm.
So what more could you want?
That's about it.
Yeah. So hopefully by the time you guys hear this, I will have Census Fail tickets.
Fingers crossed. And the week after next, I'll be going to see Bayside.
So very
in
apt.
Brighton.
Yeah. Do you think you should have waited till after to do this episode?
Probably.
Yeah.
But oh well, I can just fill these in after.
I also jumped on the bandwagon and got tickets for You Me at 6. I haven't listened to them since their second album, but sure, look, it's fine.
I've just never... I feel like I was just getting out of the emo stage when they got really big, because I remember always feeling too old for them.
Yeah. I don't know why I've never gone to see them.
My younger sister loved them for a while.
Yeah, they've been around a long time, but this will be their last show, so have to go, obviously.
Where are they even playing?
The Olympia. And they added an extra day because they sold out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, I won't be going, but you know me. Maybe last minute.
Danny will be there.
I'll just do it. I'm like, oh, a gig. I better go.
That's exactly what I'm like. I'm like, wait, someone else going? Okay. So it's exciting.
And you're just back from Taylor Swift?
I'm just back from Taylor Swift. It's okay, we won't talk about Taylor Swift. But Paramore was supporting. Now, right, so Paramore had a short set. They only played 9 songs. And one of them was a cover. I was like, really? If you only have 9 songs, are you going to play a cover?
Because they have a really big back catalogue, so it's like, they've got a lot of songs to choose from.
They played a cover of Burning Down the House.
Oh, well, they released that as a single, though, didn't they?
Yeah. I just wasn't feeling it. They did play Misery Business, though, which was exciting because they had only played that on one other date, I think.
Oh, were they changing it?
So they had a surprise song or whatever for one of them. And Misery Business was one of them, but they gave us that. And another surprise one, but I can't remember what it was. Can't remember.
Sounds good.
They're great. Hayley Williams is just a queen. She's just so good. Her voice is just unreal.
Yeah, her voice is amazing.
Yeah. She did look a bit wacky, but I feel like she goes through those phases.
I'm not a fan of her hair at the moment.
She was very sunburnt.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. She was wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and you could just see the tops of her arms were red raw. It's like, girl, I feel you. Pale skin.
I'm not a huge Paramore fan like I used to be, and then I just got over it, and I'd never sit at home and listen to them now.
I'd listen to their older stuff and songs off their newer stuff, but I'd never listen to a full album anymore.
Oh yeah, I forgot the new album is totally different.
Yeah.
Do they play much off that?
Can't remember. No.
When I was watching the videos on Instagram, I was actually kind of happy for them, because the size of that stadium that they were playing in, I was like, they probably will never get the chance to.
They will never, and they said that they were
that.
this is not lost on us that we're playing these massive stadiums. So
to
it
that
was
many
an
people,
absolutely massive stadium. It's where Benfica apparently have their home ground. You know that football team? Because I know so much about football. Big fan, big fan.
Gotta love that sports ball.
Love it so much. And yeah, the next gig I'm going to is, I'm going to say Green Day.
Oh yeah, that's coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's June. And then Sum 41, I think, is a week or two after.
I'm going to neither of those.
But you probably will go to them.
No, I'm so poor. I don't know who I think I am. I just keep buying
I can't
things.
afford my electricity.
I'm talking to 2 different tattoo artists at the moment about tattoos. And I'm like, with what money? I'm like, yeah, book me in. I'm like, what?
My knees are small. It's fine. They won't cost much.
I'm a small person, can't be that much. God.
It's fine. Whatever. You can't take it with you. That's what my mother says. Or my mother says, are you destitute? No? Well then.
Oh, that's nice. My mom's like, how much did that cost?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what's it to you?
My mom's like, spend it all. And then I'm like, Mom, I have no money.
Shall we get started?
Yes, let's go for it. You said it's a long one.
They have a lot of albums. They have a lot of
albums.
history. They've been around for a while. So
Been around the block, have
a
Bayside.
lot to talk about. So let's get started.
Go for it.
So, according to their first official band website, which was called BaysideRocks.com, but no longer exists, the band was formed in October 2000 by Anthony Ranieri and Mike Kozak in a basement on Long Island. Anthony was the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist, while Mike played lead guitar. They were still in high school at this time. So they were only babies.
Cute.
They recruited Andrew Elderbaum on bass and Jason Enns on drums and quickly put a set together and recorded a 5-track demo. They were on their way to a Newfound Glory show on Long Island and intended to give them a copy of their demo when they realised that they did not have a name to write on the CD.
Aww.
So they passed the Bayside train station and decided to write that as a name to give Newfound Glory, but it stuck.
Oh.
It's funny.
That's funny. It's like, was it Hawthorne Heights where they just drove past that hotel and we're like, yeah.
Imagine you just like, oh, now we have to call our band like Broombridge.
Birmingham.
Bluebell. I'm trying to think of like Lewis Stops.
Kilmacud.
Gorgeous.
That reminds me, there's a guy I used to work with who was a bit of a dope and he always forgot his password for everything, like always. So then when he was changing it, I finally realised why. It's because he'd be changing it and he'd be like coming up with a new one and he'd be like, latex gloves. Like his password would be something he sees and I'm like, you're never going to remember that.
They self-released their demo, played shows for several months, including on tours with Alkaline Trio, and started to build a devoted following.
Tours with Alkaline Trio?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they just made some friends straight away. In 2001, they signed to Dying Wish Records, which is a very small label. I can't find any information about it.
Never heard of it.
And they released their Long Story Short EP. In early 2002, they went on tour with many different bands, including Brand New. Again, like...
Yeah.
Straight away with these massive bands. And in June, founding member Mike Kozak left the band. He was replaced by J.R. Manning of the band Caroline, who didn't last long before being replaced by Jack O'Shea on lead guitar and backing vocals.
The most Irish name.
I know, isn't it? They continued touring for the rest of the year. They played shows anywhere, including ice and roller skating rinks, bowling alleys, recreation centres, indoor soccer fields, a batting cage, and even a library lobby.
Oh, that reminds me, Ryan was saying when he had his band in America, they played a lot of like churches because churches, they didn't want to, oh God.
He told me it was like if they wanted to play a gig, they'd have to pay the venue,
yes,
but churches would pay them to play gigs.
Yeah, so
they just had to say they were like Christian rock or whatever.
So funny.
No, these songs aren't about girls, they're about the Lord. In March 2003, they released a split EP with the band Name Taken, who I've never heard of.
Great name though.
Through Dying Wish, which they promoted with a tour along the east coast of the US. Later that same year, due to exposure from publications such as Alternative Press and Scratch, they signed to Victory Records. Looking for a method to connect with fans directly, the band started a cult. That's what they called it. I don't actually know what it entailed. But they used Friendster and MySpace and their own BaysideIsACult.com website and built a groundswell of fans before their debut album's release. So, like, to be fair, I know they kind of got lucky straight away touring with Alkaline Trio and Brand New, but they did so much touring.
Yeah.
They really like put their head down and just tried to get out there and
that's smart, like
get
being
fans.
Like, let's start a cult.
Yeah.
That's
and
where we went wrong.
You can still get t-shirts that say Bayside is a cult.
Oh, I want one. Will you get me one?
Maybe. We'll see. In January 2004, they released their first full-length studio album, Sirens and Condolences, through Victory. This album is the only one not entirely credited to Bayside as a band.
Oh.
The music and melodies were written by frontman Anthony, while the lyrics were written by bassist Andrew Elderbaum. So it was really just the two of them wrote it. The album was produced by the band themselves and Jay Robbins, a punk musician who has produced for such bands Jawbreaker, Murder by Death, Me Without You, and Against Me. What do you think of this album?
I love it. It's one of my favourites.
It's good.
Yeah.
It has that, it reminds me of like early Fall Out Boy, that kind of sound.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I love it. Some bangers on it, like I'll sing along to it, yeah.
So Andrew, along with drummer Jim Mitchell, left the band shortly after the album's release and were replaced with Nick Gambarian on bass and John Beats Holohan, formerly of The Movie Life, on drums.
Oh, Andrew Elderbaum.
Yeah, I know. He'd like wrote a whole album, they released it, and then he's like, well, bye.
Aww.
The band toured extensively that year in support of the album and toured with bands such as Silverstein, Fall Out Boy, Armour for Sleep, The Academy Is, Hawthorne Heights, and The Sleeping, as well as playing 2 shows in support of My Chemical Romance. In an interview with Forbes magazine, guitarist Jack recalled John Beats' first show with them. He said, I remember he had written out notation for the songs on his snare drum. He was like, it's my first show, I can't fuck this up. He was super intense.
Aww.
And Anthony said, he was so nervous. I remember we did weird shit. We wrote notes on the back of our guitars and we would turn around and flip the guitar to show him something to relax him. Just stupid shit that would make him laugh.
Oh, that's so cute.
Throughout the show, we had all these gags hidden that the audience wouldn't even have known about. Oh my God, it was just to chill him out on stage because he was so stressed out.
That would be me. I'd be like,
I forgot how to music. In August 2005, they released their second album, the self-titled Bayside, through Victory Records. This was recorded in Shepherd Music in New York City and was produced by Shep Goodman and Kenny Gioia. So they're a team of producers who work together a lot.
oh,
So
say that's their name again?
never again. They previously produced for Mandy Moore, Aaron Carter, LFO, Jonas Brothers and Hall & Oates.
Mandy Moore!
Remember LFO?
What song
They
did
had
they
like one song called Summer Girls. I meant to look it up because I
don't
googled
remember
what
it.
their big song was and it's that, but I can't remember how it goes.
R.I.P. Aaron Carter.
So the album features one single, Devotion and Desire, which was released a month before the album came out. After its release, they toured the US with I Am the Avalanche, June and The Forecast, and then went on to tour the UK with label mates Hawthorne Heights, Silverstein and Spitalfield.
Ew.
This led into a 2-month tour of the US with those same acts plus Aiden, dubbed the Never Sleep Again tour.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just say, I love that song. Devotion and Desire.
Yeah, that is an absolute bop.
Devotion and Desire. So good.
That's on the set list that they're playing in the US, so I don't know if I'm going to see it.
They will.
It's like their
Yeah,
closer.
they
so.
have to.
Absolute pop. What do you think of that album?
So this album and the first album to me are kind of one and the same, because I feel like that would have been back in the time where you had like an iPod and I would have just probably LimeWired some Bayside songs and like all of these went onto the one.
I think the first one sounds a little bit raw, but I like this one better.
The first one sounds like it is a demo almost, yeah.
On October 31st, 2005, Halloween, while the band were travelling to Cheyenne, Wyoming, the van that they were travelling in ran over a patch of ice and flipped over. Drummer John Beats Holohan was killed at age 31, while bassist Nick Ganbarian and some crew members were hospitalised with serious injuries.
I did know that, yeah.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
Like, why do I get these
Yeah.
episodes? Nick later released a statement advising that he'd broken his L4 lumbar vertebrae, and drum tech Dan Marino also broke his back. Singer Anthony and guitarist Jack, alongside Anthony's cousin Will, were all released from the hospital after being treated for minor injuries. They cancelled their next 4 shows on the tour, and for the remaining dates in San Francisco and Los Angeles, members of the other bands volunteered to sell their merch in order to raise money for the John Holohan Bayside Memorial Fund. After the cancelled 4 dates where they flew to New York to support John's family and friends, they resumed the tour as they felt that that was what John would have wanted. So singer Anthony and guitarist Jack continued the tour as an acoustic duo.
So sad. And he was so stressed out.
I felt really weird when I read this, and I realised when I did The Ghost Inside and their crash, it was more recent and it was in the time of Instagram, and I could like look at their posts and there were so many write-ups about it, and there's so little information about this because it's from 2005.
Yeah.
I couldn't even barely find news articles about it.
I had this idea in my head. I knew this had happened, but I had this idea in my head as well. Maybe it was a different tour band where like that it was one of the things where they'd swapped bunks or beds or something, so the person that was killed should have been someone else, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what the story is here because, as I said, I couldn't find any information, but all I found was like they cancelled 4 shows and then they kept touring, and I was like, did they not care? But I think they threw themselves into it,
Yeah.
so they weren't thinking about John.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. In an interview with Silverstein less than a month after the accident, Shane Toll stated that Bayside remained in good spirits considering their loss. He said, one night somebody came in right when Nick had just broken his back, and Nick said, dude, how's my hair? The guy's like, I don't know, man. And Nick's like, because the nurse is real hot. It's just a perfect example of how those guys remain positive after going through the worst thing ever.
#pervert. No, I'm sorry, I'm joking.
In February 2006, Bayside released an EP named Acoustic through Victory Records. It's a collection of acoustic versions of their songs, which features the song Winter, a tribute to John. The band Punchline dedicated their album 37 Everywhere to the memory of John. And the first song on the album, Flashlight, features backing vocals from Anthony and the song They Are Strong Hands, which is a reference to Bayside's song They Look Like Strong Hands from their self-titled album. Their Strong Hands also makes a lyrical shout out to John saying, ain't nobody gonna bring me down cause my boy John Beats got my back. I did not listen to that song, so I don't know what it sounds like, but it sounds hip-hop to me.
I feel like you need to rap that.
Yeah. Ain't nobody gonna bring me down, because my boy John Beats got my back. Yeah.
Wait, what was that noise you made for Crunk?
Yeah! Several other bands wrote songs dedicated to his memory, including Aiden, I'm the Avalanche, Silverstein, and The Sleeping. In September 2006, Bayside went on tour in the UK and Ireland with other Victory Records label mates, The Sleeping, Aiden, and The Audition.
Yeah!
This is the night that Claire and I met.
Happy anniversary!
Full circle moment.
Johnny just messaged me and was like, I have no friends. Can I come?
No, I went with Neve.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go with her. Basically, a girl that I went to primary school with was going to this gig.
And she was in secondary school with me.
Yeah, so she was now Claire's friend, but
Yeah.
had previously been in school with me.
Yeah.
And that was our person in common.
I feel like it was also back in the day where like you added people on Facebook that looked cool.
Yeah.
And we probably had each other on Facebook because we were like, oh, yeah.
Or even like Bebo or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And then we spent the night like at the gig together.
Oh,
look at us now.
Look at us now, my oldest friend.
In February 2007, Bayside released their third studio album, The Walking Wounded, through Victory Records. The drums and percussion on the album were performed by Chris Guglielmo, who joined the band as their new drummer after John's death. As with their self-titled album, it was produced by Shep and Kenny, and it debuted at number 75 on the US Billboard 200. It features two singles, Duality, which was released prior to the album, and Carry On. I love that song. I stick my fingers into my eyes. Every time I see Duality, I just start.
That's the first thing that came to my head there.
It's the only thing. Slowly stops the ache. They performed Duality on Late Night with Conan O'Brien around this time. Of course they did. In July, they re-released a gold edition of the album featuring a special edition CD-DVD with new packaging, an acoustic set filmed at Looney Tunes record store on Long Island, a behind-the-scenes documentary filmed on tour, and music videos. It was like really shortly after the original release, they re-released it again, which is weird.
Here's a bit of extra bits and bobs.
They toured in support of the album, including supporting Anne Boleyn in the US, playing Bamboozle Fest, Warped Tour, and headlining the 2007 Victory Records tour. In December 2007, January 2008, Anthony embarked on a solo acoustic tour before reuniting with the band for a headline US tour with support from Stray Light Run and 4 Years Strong. They just tour and tour and tour and tour. In September 2008, they released their fourth studio album, Shudder, through Victory Records. It was recorded in the Red Bull Studios in LA and was produced by David Schiffman. David originally worked as an engineer for Rick Rubin, and together they created hits such as Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication and System of a Down's Toxicity.
Oh,
so yeah.
great songs.
Dave himself produced for Smashing Pumpkins, The Killers, Haim and Vampire Weekend. Anthony described the album as having a more alternative sound to The Walking Wounded. Drummer Chris said, Shudder is, to us, our most organic CD to date. Out of the 4 studio CDs we've released, this one was more of a team effort. The reason for that was the fact that Shudder was written while the band was on tour the previous year. Chris said that Anthony, who usually worked on songs alone before bringing them to the band, did some demo recordings in the back of the tour bus. Since we were all on the bus together, we did things then and there, he said. The band polished the songs through soundcheck rehearsals and was more than ready to record once the tour ended. Our record company gave us only 6 weeks to record it, Chris said. We worked with Dave Schiffman, who knew what we sounded like and what we wanted. It was a good experience for us, and hearing how good we could be only made us want to do it more. Did you think that this was different?
I did think it was starting to get... It wasn't as... Yeah, I could see where they're coming from. There was a slight more like one of those... This is going to be our, experimental side coming out.
I wasn't a big fan of The Walking Wounded or Shudder, to be fair.
I preferred The Walking Wounded.
I felt it was a bit... Well, like, obviously it was after a tragedy, so I can't really, but I just felt it was a bit... Meh.
It was a bit tragic.
Yeah, it's a bit tragic. So the album was first made. It was the first made. The album was first made available to stream on their MySpace before being released officially 11 days later. Some fun trivia about the album. The intro and solo for the song Rochambeau, Rock, Paper, Scissors, appears in a promo for Adult Swim's Anime Hour. Have fun storming the castle is a quote from the movie The Princess Bride. And Sean Harris, singer of pop punk band The Matches, did the artwork for the album.
Don't know who that is.
Me neither. I think I've heard of The Matches.
I don't think I have.
Well, yeah, that's all I know. In October and November 2008, the band went on a headlining tour of the US, and in December, they co-headlined a tour of the UK with Hit the Lights.
Hit the Lights. You're gonna need a body bag.
That's literally the only song of theirs I know that I've ever heard in my
I'll
life.
break bones you didn't know you had. Sorry. Keep going.
In January 2009, Anthony went on a solo tour alongside frontmen of the Get Up Kids, Saves the Day and Thrice. In February and March 2009, the band toured Australia as part of the Soundwave Festival. Between late March and early May, the band supported New Found Glory on their headlining tour of the US. Full circle moment for them, New Found Glory.
Yeah.
They then played at the Bamboozle Festival and Warped Tour. While playing Bamboozle, their contractual obligations with Victory Records came to an end, and they released a cover of Sean King's Beautiful Girls for Punk Goes Pop 2.
Terrible song.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually terrible when you think about it.
Yeah. These beautiful girls make me want to kill myself.
Who came up with that and who thought it was a good idea?
Probably Sean Kingston.
Well,
I don't know if he writes his own songs.
He put to bed. Get in the bin.
By way of his blog, Twitter account, and various interviews, there had been talk of a solo release from frontman Anthony. On December 4th, 2009, at 12 a.m, he released a demo version of The Ballad of Bill the Saint on his personal MySpace page, the first recorded song from his upcoming solo album. In March 2010, Bayside signed to Wind Up Records, an American indie label whose biggest acts were Creed and Evanescence.
Never heard of them.
Which is like...
Sorry, I never heard of Wind Up Records.
It's like, you've never heard of Creed and Evanescence.
Who am I?
In January 2011, in an interview with Alternative Press, Anthony stated that he had no plans to release a solo album anytime soon, as he only does his solo work for fun. However, by August of the same year, Anthony stated at a solo show he was playing in Rhode Island, "I was thinking about maybe putting out a solo record next year," and went on to say that he had not revealed this idea to his record label, but joked that they would know after the video of the show went online.
Was he lying?
I don't know, like... Maybe he was just toying with the idea for a long time and didn't want to commit to it or something. But...
I'm getting vibes of, what's his name from Seosin? Was his name Anthony as well?
Anthony Green?
Yeah. I don't know why, but when you're reading all this, that's who I'm picturing in my head.
I've watched a lot of videos of them recently and they seem like just such normal guys.
Yeah.
They're not in any way like rock starry or like cool. They're actually like kind of dorky.
Yeah. That's the vibes I get from their music though as well, is there's no shit about it. It's just like...
And even though he's like talking about solo stuff and all that, like I don't think he has any kind of ego or any kind of like, I'm the rock star here.
Yeah.
Like he seems like a quiet, normal guy.
Oh.
He seems really nice. In February 2011, they released their fifth studio album, Killing Time, their first through Wind Up. It was produced by Gil Norton, who we know from our Brody Dahl episode as he produced Coral Fang.
Yeah.
The album featured two singles, Sick 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 and Already Gone, both bangers, both of which were made available to stream before the album's release. In April and May, the band Sorry, I forgot how to read. The band... In April and May, the band co-headlined the Take Action Tour with Silverstein, and in July, they went on a headlining US tour. In October and November, the band went on a co-headlining US tour with Saves the Day, with support from I Am the Avalanche and Transit. To coincide with the tour, the four groups each contributed one track to a four-way split single.
That's cute.
How random is that?
That is random. Who are I Am the Avalanche? I feel like I need to listen to them now.
I love them.
Oh.
I love them. They came up like a couple of months ago and I was like, remember them? And I started listening to their album and I was like, I love this album and I know all the songs. I cannot remember how I know them. Like, where did they come from in my life?
Never heard of them.
I don't know. They're really good. They're also like from New York as well.
Wait, I've forgotten already. Is it Saves the Day who's supporting Census Fail?
Yeah.
Okay.
In November 2011, Anthony and bassist Nick started a weekly radio show called Gumshoe Radio.
That's so wholesome.
I couldn't really find much about it, so I don't think it exists anymore. And that was like 13 years ago, so probably not. In December 2011, Anthony began recording his first solo EP. Steve Choi from RX Bandits, Davey Warsop from Beat Union, and Jared Alexander of My Chemical Romance were announced as his backing band and collaborators on the recording. So Jared Alexander is the person who drums more recently for My Chemical Romance.
Glad you cleared that up because I was like...
Because I was like, I don't know this chap from My Chemical Romance.
Wait, Bob doesn't drum anymore?
No, he had like a weird breakdown and...
Oh yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
Had weird tweets and
Didn't
stuff.
he go on fire?
Yeah. Didn't he go on fire? In January 2012, the EP New Cathedrals was released on iTunes and within hours made it to number 7 on the iTunes Store Top 10 Alternative Albums chart.
I didn't listen to this.
I didn't listen to his solo stuff. I think it sounds pretty similar to their stuff because he writes most of their stuff. So
and sings it.
Yeah. They took a short break from touring and then again went on Warped Tour for the summer of 2012.
I don't like this.
With Anthony also playing solo acoustic sets on the acoustic basement stage. Does he ever stop? Does he ever stop?
He just carries around a guitar. He's like,
He's just
guys,
always
can I play? Can I play? Anyone?
Oh, the band's not around. I'll just do it myself. It's fine. It's fine. In September 2012, the band announced that they were self-releasing an EP called Covers Volume 1 through their own record label, Gumshoe Records. The EP contained covers of songs from Van Morrison, the Ronettes, Elvis Costello and Billy Joel, and was released the following month. The band advised that they had intentions of creating more EPs of covers, hence calling this one Volume 1. And in October and November 2012, they went on tour with Take 'Em Back Sunday, celebrating the 10th anniversary of Tell All Your Friends.
I don't listen to this, but it sounds terrible.
I just don't see a point.
No, Billy Joel.
It is the song...
Joel, sorry.
What's the song? Moving Out. I really like that song.
I don't know.
It's a good song. But I didn't listen to the cover of it. I just... that's kind of fun. Maybe stick one on an album or something. I don't know if you need a whole album of it.
No.
They just seem to constantly be making music.
Yeah.
Even the albums are like just being banged out. I don't know why I was trying to think of a different past tense verb of banged. I like bunged. They're just bunging out those albums. In October 2013, they announced that they'd been signed to Hopeless Records. Anthony said they were keen to be with a label that could be our last label. We wanted to be somewhere that was actually emotionally invested in their bands, no matter what the band's potential or situation was. In September and October, the group went on a co-headlining US tour with Motion City Soundtrack, supported by What's Eating Gilbert and State Champs. I just really like the name of that band. I've never heard of them in my life.
Neither have I.
What's
Isn't that a
Eating
movie?
Gilbert? What's Eating Gilbert Grape is a movie.
Oh, great.
And I also didn't realise State Champs had been around for that long, because in my head they're a new band.
I would have said they're a new band. Yep, they sound very...
I mean, maybe they were only starting out here, but I don't know. However, Anthony was forced to leave due to the birth of his child. His position was filled in by various crew members, which is just so strange because with him being the front man...
And the singer.
Yeah, and they just got crew members in to...
Here you! You just see some guy... Huh?
Devotion and desire. Then in November, they revealed their 6th album, Cult, after a series of photos on their Instagram page symbolising their previous albums. In the last picture, all symbols were depicted inside of a hexagram with 6 tally marks in the 6 points of the star. I don't know what a tally mark is.
No.
The album was released in February 2014 through Hopeless and was produced by Shep Goodman and Aaron Estrada, who produced for Forever the Sickest Kids, Aaron Carter, Nick Carter, and LFO. And I can't believe I've mentioned LFO twice in this one episode.
I can't believe you mentioned Aaron Carter twice in this episode.
There were 2 singles from the album, Pigsty and Time Has Come. The album received generally favourable reviews and was included at number 46 on Kerrang's The Top 50 Rock Albums of 2014 list. Following the album's release, they went on various tours with bands such as 4 Year Strong, Alkaline Trio, and I Am the Avalanche.
There they are again.
I kind of love that, like, they were on tour with Alkaline Trio in the early days, and now they're still, years later. So, like, they must all be palaronis.
Well, Alkaline Trio are pervs now, aren't they? No, that was Rancid. Never mind.
I once a pervert. Just take it for granted. In March and April 2015, the band embarked on an anniversary tour to celebrate 15 years of being a band. They were supported by Census Fail, Man Overboard, and Seaway.
Sorry, I've just realised it wasn't Rancid, it was Anti-Flag. Continue.
In June 2015, Anthony released his 2nd solo EP, Sorry State of Mind, through Hopeless Records.
What the man? Was he not looking after his child? Where's he got all this time?
Does he not sleep? He is just always
I
singing.
think some people don't. People like this. Like, they must just be up constantly with their brain going.
Wouldn't be me. I love sleeping.
Before we went for dinner, I lay down in my bed and like 40 minutes later I was like, I have to get up.
In late 2015, on returning to the US after the European tour, Anthony and his wife divorced, with joint custody of their daughter. While he was going through this process, he lived in a motel in Franklin, Tennessee, unable to return to his native New York due to his daughter's proximity to the Nashville area. Lyrics for the next album, Vacancy, were mostly penned by Anthony while he lived alone in a motel. The album would later get the name Vacancy, with the front cover showing a picture of that very motel.
Oh,
which is sad.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture?
No.
On Spotify?
No.
Okay. It's just a motel.
Okay.
Do you like this album?
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel like this period of time they were a bit samey or something.
I liked it. I felt like they got back into it now.
I did not like it. I just was like, there was no big songs on it for me.
I think Cult, I got back into it because Shudder, Walking Wounded, and then Killing Time I wasn't mad about. But then Cult, I was like, oh, they're back. Because I listened in order as well. And I was like, yes. And then I like this one. In August 2016, they released their 7th studio album, Vacancy, through Hopeless Records. It was produced by Tim O'Hare, who was also produced for Say Anything, The Starting Line, and The All-American Rejects.
Yes.
Aaron Bally of Saves the Day also helped with engineering the album. It received favourable reviews from fans and critics. In August and September, the band went on a headlining tour of the US with support from the Menzingers and Sorority Noise. In April and May 2017, they went on a co-headlining US tour with Say Anything, with support from Reggie and the Full Effect and Hot Rod Circuit. I don't know who Hot Rod Circuit
No,
is,
me neither.
but I feel like Reggie and the Full Effect come up in every episode.
They do.
They support everybody. Never heard a single one of their songs.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
To promote the tour, Bayside covered Say Anything's Night songs, while Say Anything covered Bayside's They're Not Horses, They're Unicorns, which I think is kind of cute.
That's a great name.
Yeah. That song is on the set list.
Sorry, when you said Say Anything there, the only thing that was going through my head is, isn't there a Good Charlotte song where it's like,
Say
don't
anything,
say a word.
say anything. Please don't walk away.
I know you want to stay.
Just give me a sign.
Thanks, guys. You can come see us on our tour.
We're being supported by Reggie and the Full Effect. In September 2018, they released their second acoustic album, Acoustic Volume 2, which featured acoustic reworkings of some of their back catalogue. Again, I didn't listen to any of these acoustic albums, but they're still just banging out CDs.
I love how, they're like covers, number 1, and acoustic, number 2.
Exactly.
Like,
They're just always doing something.
but they're not very rich. Like, they're just come up with a good song.
In October 2019, they released their 8th studio album, Interrobang, through Hopeless Records. This album was produced by Cameron Webb, who's produced for Weezer and Sum 41 and Social Distortion. The album received favourable reviews from critics. Bayside held a Battle of the Bands contest where people could vote for local acts to open for the band on their headlining Interrobang tour later in the year. The contest was meant as a way for the band to support local unsigned bands and give them a chance to perform in front of a large crowd, which I think is so cute.
That's so cute.
And I think it was like a different band in every city, so it was local to the city they were playing in.
That's so cute.
And there was all these criteria, like the band had to be unsigned,
Yeah.
and they like had to be like they couldn't have released an album yet, or something like that.
Oh,
So it was very cute. In 2020, the band announced a 20th anniversary tour with Census Fail, Hawthorne Heights and Can't Swim, but was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
that sounds like a great tour.
In May of 2022, the band announced that they'd be releasing an EP later in the year. With this announcement came the EP's first single, Strangest Faces. On October 11th, the second single, Good Advice, was released, and on October 19th, the Red EP was fully released via Hopeless Records. The band then released the Blue EP on March 17, 2023, also via Hopeless Records.
So many.
And then in April 2024, they released their 9th full-length studio album, There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive, also through Hopeless. It features a few songs from their recent Red and Blue EPs, such as Strangest Faces, Go to Hell, and the Ice Nine Kills collaboration, How to Ruin Everything. And in support of that, they went on a US tour with support from Finch, Armour for Sleep, and Winona Fighter, which is a great name for a band.
Great name.
And they have a, webisode thing on YouTube that's behind the scenes of it. It's only like a 10-minute video or something, but it's just really cute and wholesome. They just seem like such nice men.
I really like this album.
Yeah, so do I. It's really good.
Yeah.
I actually started listening to that first and then went back and started from the
So
start.
was it after The Walking Wounded? I think I was like, meh, and I went to listen to this one and then I went back.
Yeah. So many bops.
Yeah.
In 2024, drummer Chris also launched his own solo project under the name Head Trip. His first EP, No Love, featured 3 new original songs.
Oh.
So they are just...
Like a drumming solo project.
I don't know, I didn't look into it too much.
Oh.
But they're just always creating.
So talented.
And I think I felt kind of a little bit sad about them because I was like, they just never made it.
I know exactly what you mean. That's how I kind of feel about them. Like, I love Bayside, but still my favourite songs would be like from their first EP. And not that I don't like the rest of their songs, but I'm like, it's Bayside. Cute.
I really like them. Like, I'm glad that I've listened to them so much recently because I'm really, I've listened to nothing else for weeks now. And I like so many of their songs and I'm so looking forward to seeing them because I didn't appreciate them when I saw them in 2006.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Because there were so many other bands that I was really into that were on that tour that I was just like, Bayside, they're good. But I felt really sad that they never made it very big. Like, because all the bands that they played with
Are huge.
are massive and they're just never got there.
I feel like they're the equivalent of like being friend zoned. You know, they're always just being friend zoned while other people are making it into those relationships.
What was I going to say? Like, when I was trying to look up information, like on Wikipedia and stuff, there's no like, they were like number 5 on the top 200. Like, they just never really charted. The odd one did, but not really. The one that got the highest on the charts, I think, was his solo album. Which, again, I thought it was all sad. But then I read an interview with them from last year and They love their lives and they're so happy that they never got bigger than they are.
I was going to say, you know, some bands are like, they make it big and everyone's like, you sold out, and then they lose a load of fans. Like, they're probably, I mean, they're still doing well for themselves if they're still going.
Yeah. And they're like, we tour for about 3 months out of the year, and then the other 9 months, we go home to our families and we have completely normal lives.
Yeah.
And we can walk down the street and nobody knows who we are.
Yeah.
And then they go out and they get to be rock stars for a few more months, and then they come home and have a normal life. And like, the balance actually sounds lovely.
And there's also like things like 2 random people from Ireland are going over to Brighton to see them play. You know what I mean? Like they've got
the hardcore fans
yeah.
there. So yeah, then the story which made me want to do them. Mm-hmm. So when I originally was thinking about doing Bayside, I Googled like their Wikipedia page because I just wanted to read and be like, do they have any stories, anything going on? And when I typed Bayside into Google, the first thing that came up was Bayside allegations. And I was like, oh,
no.
cool. And I had already bought tickets to Brighton at this stage. So I was like, great, can't wait to hear what awful people they are now that I'm going to see them. And then the story took a different kind of turn.
Oh,
and this is what cemented it for me that I had to do them for the episode.
Okay, go on, tell me.
So, in April 2021, Anthony was informed that a Jacksonville tattoo artist named James Ranieri was claiming to be his cousin in order to get girls online.
Huh?
First of all, I'd like to point out that Anthony's surname is Ranieri, and this guy's name is Ranieri. So, like, they're not even the same surname. They're not cousins.
But also, that's just a random thing, like pretending to be his cousin.
Yeah. I don't know what he was promising the girls, but he was saying he was his
he
cousin
really,
with the wrong name.
I don't mean this in any offensive way to Anthony, but would that really get him a lot of girls?
I don't know.
Like, would you be like, oh yeah, Anthony from Bayside's cousin?
Hopefully he'll introduce me to his granddad. Like, what? When Anthony started to investigate who this person was, he found a number of allegations of violence and sexual assault. So he posted online, told everyone that he was not in fact his cousin, and warned people to stay away from him. The comments on this post became a forum with different people sharing their experiences of abuse and sexual assault at the hands of James. Anthony advised that he was heartbroken reading about all of the experiences, so he contacted the mayor's office as well as getting the attention of the sheriff's office and the state attorney. He advised that he was in touch with a detective who would take statements from any women who wanted to come forward.
Oh, you go.
In August, James Ranieri was arrested for 3 counts of sexual battery, although it was believed that more victims existed that didn't come forward. One victim said, "I thought my case was too old, honestly. So when I made my statement, it was more to just back up a lot of the women who had made statements, who had been denied. It was really kind of ironic how him saying he was related to this guy from Bayside turned into me speaking with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, which has now turned into his situation where he's finally being dealt with." In an interview with First Coast News, Anthony said, "I didn't want to put myself in the middle of it, but at the same time, I realised I have a platform and I figured I would and see how far the platform would go."
That's so cute.
The anti-sexual predator band.
Hang on. Have we just turned that on its head?
Yes!
Oh my god, guys.
The anti-pervert story. That's when I knew I had to do this episode.
Hang on. Is it as catchy? Anti-pervert stories?
No, it was his cousin, not his auntie.
Get out of here. Oh, we love Bayside.
Yeah. Just wholesome chaps.
That's giving me hope for all of mankind.
No, just them. Everyone else is a pervert.
They even played Warped Tour.
Yeah, many, many times.
And they've come out of it seemingly unscathed. Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go see Bayside.
Like, Anthony's Instagram is just like him and his kids, and it's very wholesome.
Neil, can I have your ticket?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to give that to you.
Danny's wearing a Bayside t-shirt. You can't see it.
I'm wearing a Bayside t-shirt.
Yeah, because her hair is too long. And her boobs are too big. Sorry. No.
Wow.
I'm wearing a Give 'em Hell jumper.
Yes, always supporting the girls.
Supporting the gals. Oh, that was wholesome. I feel good.
I feel good.
I feel real
it's a
good.
good episode.
Yeah, let's make them all like this.
Now I want to like go and hug them in Brighton.
What age are they, would you say? I
Good
feel like
10 years
40s.
on us, I'd say.
Yeah.
I did a weird thing, and when I was watching the webisode from their US tour, which was only like last month, I found the names of like all the people that work with them, like the stagehands and the text and stuff, and then followed them on Instagram, because then I was like, then I can find them when I'm in Brighton.
That is really weird.
That is really weird.
That is like so weird.
No, but just if they're like, oh, we're on the pier, I'll be like, oh, do you want to take a walk down the pier?
Uh-huh. That reminds me, I saw this Instagram video where this woman was like, she saw this cute guy at the store, because obviously it was America, and he paid for his groceries, and she like got the name of him off the credit card. Did you see this?
I saw something vaguely about this.
And then she like found him, and then found his mom, and then joined the same book club as his mother, and
Baby
then made
Reindeer.
friends with his mother, and you know, got on great. And then the mother was like, oh, I have a son, like he would love to meet you, and they're going on a first date.
No.
Like, if you found out that's how the person you were going out with found you, what would you do?
No, it's too weird. It's too weird. I couldn't even be like flattered.
Because whatever about the looking at the name on the credit card, that you could kind of forgive, because sometimes I see people, you know, sometimes you might be sitting behind someone on a bus and you're like reading their text message. But joining the same book club as his mother.
Yeah, no, that's the step.
weird.
That's too weird.
Yeah. If she joined
like literally
his book
find out
club-
his name and add him online.
Yeah. Don't like,
That's the year we live in. You can do that.
don't act like you're not being a stalker. Just admit it. And it's fine. Yeah, weird. So don't do that.
No.
Next minute I'll hear you'll get arrested in Brighton for...
Following the band around. Well, you won't be saying that when they're on our next episode, guys. Spoiler. Says me. I'm always like, do you want to go talk to that band? I'm like, I'd rather die.
Yeah, I'm always like, come on, Danny, let's do it. And then Danny's like, no. And then I'm like, oh, okay. But I wouldn't really want to do it either. But if you said you'd do it, then I'd do it.
Neil will do it.
Yeah.
He's met them before. He'll talk to them.
Perfect. They're mates.
And I'll be like, say things about the podcast.
Danny's going to get them to record a WhatsApp voice recording doing the intro.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. It's going to happen. Manifesting.
It's happening. Manifest it all.
So what is your song to skip?
My song to skip is actually on There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive.
Which one is it?
Go to Hell.
Which one is that?
The lyrics were just a bit, not even the lyrics, but it's just a bit cheese or something for me. I was like, this is a bit cringe.
My song to skip is that one, Moshianu. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's the one with all the spellings in it.
Spellings.
They spell all the words out.
Yes, I do know it.
I was like, what is this that I'm listening to? I was so mad when I listened to that song. I was like, I hate this on another level. I really don't like it.
What was that? Oh, Shudder, yeah. From that album.
And what's your song on repeat?
My song on repeat is Blame It on Bad Luck.
Good song.
I just love that, like the start of it. Pound my knuckles hard against. Yeah, love it.
So catchy. There's so many catchy songs.
So catchy.
Okay, I'm tossing up between two here. I'm gonna say Montauk as my song to repeat.
Just that off.
That's from, I think they're self-titled.
Oh yeah, same album as Blame It on Bad Luck.
Yeah. Montauk. That's the one that's like sweetness. What are the words? We'll hear it in a minute when we're making our playlist.
Again, I'm so bad with song names now that it's Spotify.
Oh, sweetness. Can you believe this?
Yeah.
I sing it all the time to Indy.
Oh, guys.
We were literally walking around Aldi and I just kept singing it to her and she wanted to die and kill me. Which is all part of being a mom. Being as annoying as possible.
We went for dinner there before we started recording, and Indy was like, I want dessert, and then I was like, I fucking want a dessert. So Indy got like a scoop of strawberry ice cream and I got like a ginormous Oreo sundae. Danny got nothing, and then Indy was eating her ice cream and she was like, oh, it needs to be like mushed up because it was too hard. So Danny put a whole lot of time and effort into like softening the ice cream, and then she gave it back to Indy and Indy just goes, I don't want ice cream.
Yeah, that is.
Meanwhile, I had eaten the entire Oreo sundae. I was like, Indy,
you're supposed to be in this with me.
and Danny's face was just literally like, oh god.
My face is just always like, I'm tired. So what band are we doing next?
Oh my god, so funny because you mentioned them in the episode.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's I Am the Avalanche, who you never heard of. Go on.
Any ideas?
No.
No, it's funny because you were like, you've never heard of them. I'm going to do Evanescence.
Evanescence?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Didn't see that coming.
I know, I was thinking for ages and I went through so many bands and I was like, I just can't do it because all the bands that I have in my head have so many albums and I feel like Bayside's had so many albums. I was like, no, I want a band that's just like short and sweet and, you know, reminiscent of our childhood, and then it just came to me. I was like, hang on to fucking Evanescence.
How many albums do Evanescence have?
Only like 3.
Because I feel like they've been around for so many years. They
have,
should have
yeah.
many.
But they don't. They had those first 2, and then I think they released another one, and that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
guys.
I start crying and listening to My Immortal.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear Dayseeker's version of that song?
No.
They released a cover. I mean, if you really want to devastate yourself.
I was just going to say, I'd say that's really, really hard to listen to.
Yeah.
So did your one, what's her name? The opera singer my mom loves.
Catherine Jenkins.
That's her. Yeah.
The only opera singer I know the name of.
Yeah, she did a version.
Oh.
Yeah.
We could do a cover if we wanted.
And anyway, Evanescence, guys, get your stripy arm warmers out. I feel like she wore them.
And your corsets and your tiered skirts.
Yeah.
That's still in fashion.
Your eyebrows. I used to love her eyebrows on that album cover. So they were like...
Well, if you want to keep up to date on everything we're doing about my stalking mission in Brighton, follow us on social media. We're Foundations of Emo on Instagram and TikTok. We are Foundations Emo on X.
And guys, if you want to find out if I get Senses Fail tickets, tune in, because I'll be devastated if I don't. So thanks, guys.
Cross your fingers. Although at this stage it's too late. She either has them or she doesn't.
Yeah, right. Oh God, the stress! I'm stressed about it already. I need to check what time they're on sale, because Danny normally buys all her tickets.
Yeah, I'm always stressed.
Literally, I'm never stressed, because I'm like, Danny will do it, and Danny always has the tickets then, and I have to do nothing except show up.
We have to figure out Birmingham.
Birmingham. If anyone has any recommendations for Birmingham, let us know. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.